Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive? Today we're heading to South Africa
Yeah, buckle up.
to take a look at a story that is gripping the nation.
It's intense.
It's the Zama Zamas, you've probably seen those headlines.
Illegal miners.
Thousands trapped underground. We've been digging into some news articles
From the Sitter?
and Daily Maverick, and let me tell you,
Those are giving us like the on the ground.
the real picture.
Yeah,
We've also got some really intense social media posts
from the South African government.
and Newsroom Africa. So our mission today,
Just to like make sense of this.
yeah, to kind of cut through all the noise and really figure out who are these Zama Zamas? How did we even get to this crisis point?
Yeah.
What's the government doing about it?
Because it is messy.
It is. It's a lot more than just rocks and gold.
Way more.
So let's break it down, starting with the basics. Who are these Zama Zamas?
So the term Zama Zamas,
It's
it's Zulu.
right,
It means like take a chance, which is
kind of
really fitting when you think about what they do.
yeah.
These are people going into like abandoned mines.
These aren't like the
Was-
regular mines.
Disused mines.
Yeah.
To extract minerals, mainly gold. And they're doing this completely illegally,
No safety regulations, just going in.
risking their lives.
Yeah, it's like imagine being in a mine with no support beams, no ventilation.
And no one knowing where you are.
Exactly. It's terrifying. But why would anyone do that?
Well,
Like, what would drive someone to that level of risk?
I think a lot of it comes down to desperation.
Like, they just...
You know, many of them are former mine workers.
Oh, so
They have the skills,
the industry.
but the jobs are gone
So it's like South Africa's formal mining industry, it's been declining.
for a while.
Right,
And so these guys, a lot of them are from neighboring countries like Lesotho,
right.
Mozambique. They relied on that migrant labor system.
For generations, it was like the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And so when those jobs dried up,
There's really no other options.
Zama Zama work, it becomes the only way to survive for some.
So it's not just a black and white, they're criminals story.
No, it's
Like
complicated.
a whole history
yeah.
and like
People just try to,
live,
yeah,
make a living.
exactly. But speaking of risk, the situation right now
Is
really scary.
it's a crisis.
It is.
It's unfolding in a couple of places, still Fontaine,
Okay.
both in the Northwest Province.
And we're talking about thousands of Zama Zamas
Yeah.
that are trapped underground.
Thousands.
In Stilfontein, the citizen is saying it's like an estimated 4,000.
Yeah, and then over in Orkney,
Over 1,000 were able to get out
but they got arrested
as soon as they got out.
immediately.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they're trapped. But what does that even mean?
Oh, what does that look like down there?
Like it's the worst possible scenario you can imagine in a mine. No food, no water.
No way to contact anyone.
And then on top of that, you've got the threat of like cave-ins, gas leaks.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
And we're seeing all these posts on social media from family members.
Newsroom Africa has been.
Yeah, they've been sharing them.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking. These families are desperate.
Just want to know what's happening.
Yeah, they're facing starvation, dehydration.
Illness.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. So you've got this humanitarian crisis happening underground,
Right.
people literally fighting for their lives.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming the government is like stepping in, right?
Yeah.
Sending rescue teams, medical aid.
This
all.
is where it gets really complicated.
Oh, no.
The South African government, their response has been
Not great.
not sympathetic at all.
Really?
They're refusing to send any assistance.
Are you serious?
They've taken a very hard line. They see these miners as criminals.
Oh, wow.
They need to be dealt with, not helped.
So they're just going to leave him down there.
I think to really understand their stance, we need to hear it straight from the source. This is Minister in the Presidency, Kumbutso Ntshavheni, addressing the situation.
Okay.
You want us to send help to criminals?
Yeah.
Honestly, we are not sending help to criminals. We're going to smoke them out. They will come out. Criminals are not to be helped. Criminals are to be persecuted. We didn't send them there. And they didn't go down there for the good benefit or intentions of the Republic, so we can't help them. Those who want to help them, they must go and take the food down there. They will come out, and we will arrest them.
Wow, smoke them out. That sounds
Intense.
a little intense, yeah.
Yeah, and it sparked this huge debate across the country
I bet
because on the one hand, you have these miners
they're trapped.
in desperate conditions.
But on the other hand, they are breaking the law.
They are.
So how do you even begin to weigh those two things?
Exactly. That's the moral and ethical dilemma.
right at the heart of this
Yeah.
this whole story.
And that's something we're going to unpack.
As we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got this like intense standoff happening, but it's not like this just came out of nowhere.
No,
There's a bigger story here.
absolutely.
This isn't just a random event.
We need to look back at how South Africa's mining industry has changed.
That's the context.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, South Africa's economy.
Tied to its mineral wealth.
Yeah.
Especially gold.
Yeah. For like centuries, it's been all about the mines.
And all those mines meant jobs.
Huge migrant labor system.
People coming from all over
Southern Africa to work.
especially places like Lesotho.
Mozambique.
Yeah.
It was like the thing.
It was dangerous work, hard work,
Oh, yeah.
but it was a living.
It was a way to make a living.
But then things changed.
They did.
What happened?
A bunch of factors, I think.
Like what?
Well, technology.
Right, like machines doing the jobs people used to do.
Exactly. Then you've got like changes to labor laws.
Oh, that makes sense.
And like the whole mining process just became way more mechanized.
So fewer jobs.
Way fewer jobs.
But I'm guessing that's when some of those folks...
Who were already miners.
Yeah, and who didn't have any other options. Right. They started looking for other ways to make money.
Even if it meant breaking the law.
And that's where the Zama Zamas come in.
That's a huge part of this whole story.
Yeah.
The decline of that formal mining sector.
Coupled with like no other economic opportunities.
It created this perfect
breeding ground
for illegal mining to just explode.
It's kind of tragic, A system that used to provide for so many people now.
It's contributing to the problem.
Yeah, but it's also a business, right? Like illegal mining.
Oh, yeah.
It must be making a lot of money.
A lot of money.
For someone.
The numbers are crazy.
Oh, why are you talking?
The Citizen is reporting that illegal mining is costing South Africa like $70 billion a year.
That's insane.
It's a massive hit to their economy.
And with gold prices being so high.
Record highs.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Daily Maverick was saying that the profits.
Must be through the roof.
It's a lucrative business.
But dangerous.
Oh, incredibly dangerous.
And that gold doesn't just stay in South Africa, right?
No.
Where does it go?
It gets smuggled out, often to refineries in places like Dubai.
So it's not just a local problem.
This is global.
Criminal networks.
Yeah, it's fueling all of that.
Wow. It's crazy how something that starts in these abandoned mines can have such a...
Huge impact.
Yeah.
It really shows you how everything's connected.
Yeah. And it brings us back to that surrender or starve strategy.
Oh, yeah. Daily Maverick called it that.
It's pretty intense.
They're cutting off all the supplies.
Forcing them up
Yeah.
to the surface.
Where they get arrested.
Exactly.
And it worked in Orkney.
Over 565 arrests.
Yeah. But is it really a solution?
Long term.
Yeah. What if it leads to more deaths underground?
It's a tough question.
I mean, these are people.
They are.
Regardless of what they've done.
It's that ethical question again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can you withhold aid?
Even if it means people might die.
It's a tough call.
And this isn't the first time something like this has happened, right? No. The Citizen mentioned that methane explosion.
Back in June in Virginia,
Free State.
31 Basotho miners.
They lost their lives.
It was awful.
And it took forever to even start recovering the bodies.
It was a huge effort for both countries.
South Africa and Lesotho.
Yeah.
It's a reminder of how dangerous this is.
Oh, yeah. It's a stark reminder.
We need solutions.
We do.
Ones that address the root causes.
Not just the symptoms.
Exactly. So where do we go from here?
Well, that's the big question.
Yeah.
On one hand, you've got the government
Trying to keep things in order.
protect the economy.
Deal with these criminal networks.
Yeah.
But then you've got all these people trapped
Yeah.
in these awful conditions.
And many of them were just...
Trying to make a living.
Exactly.
It's complicated.
It's a really complex situation.
No easy answers.
No, and that's why it's so important to understand all the sides.
All the perspectives.
Yeah.
It feels like we've just scratched the surface here.
Yeah, we really have.
We've uncovered this whole web of issues.
It's interconnected.
Poverty, unemployment.
The legacy of apartheid.
Yeah, and like that whole migrant labor system.
It's all tied in.
And then, of course,
Gold.
yeah, the allure of gold.
That's a lot to think about.
It is a lot.
That's why this deep dive is so important.
Yeah.
It's easy to just see the headlines.
Illegal miners trapped, government crackdown.
But there's so much more to it.
Yeah, these Zama Zamas.
They're not just criminals.
They're people.
They have families. They have stories.
Reasons for doing what they do.
Yeah.
And for a lot of them, it seems like
This was the only option.
Yeah, if you're facing that level of poverty,
And no jobs.
that chance to find gold,
Even if it's dangerous.
illegal.
It must seem like the only way out.
Yeah, the only way to survive.
So we can't just focus on punishing people.
We have to fix the system.
Exactly. We have to address those underlying issues.
So what does that even look like? Like, what can we do to give these folks other options?
That's a million-dollar question.
Yeah.
There's no easy answer. I figured,
It's going to take a lot of different things.
like what kind of things?
Well, you need economic development programs,
To create jobs.
especially in those communities hit hardest by the decline of the mining industry.
Yeah.
You need education,
Skills training.
so people can learn new things, new trades.
Right. And like actually address the poverty and inequality.
That's driving people to this in the first place.
Yeah, it sounds like a huge undertaking.
It is.
But it seems necessary.
We can't just keep arresting people and expect things to change.
We have to get to the root of the problem.
Exactly.
And that's where you come in, dear listener.
Yeah, we want to hear from you.
What are your thoughts on all of this?
What solutions do you think would work?
Head over to our website, social media.
Share your perspective,
Keep this conversation going
because that's how we find a way forward.
by talking to each other, challenging our assumptions.
Exactly.
We've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
And it's clear that this story,
The Zama Zamas.
it's not over,
Not by a long shot.
but hopefully by shedding some light on this issue,
We can all be a little more
a
informed
little more compassionate.
and understand what's really at stake here.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
And remember, the pursuit of knowledge is a journey best taken together